Good Basel YouTube, what's up, how's it going? 6foot Hacks here with y'all today for another Wi-Fi battle starting off Monday. Hopefully y'all have a good week this week. Thank you to everybody for showing support on the return of the Wi-Fi battles. And yeah, of course, if you do enjoy it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and answer the comment question of the day. So I'm using this pretty cool team that's using Sniper Crit Draw, which is actually really cool. A focus energy with Sniper and the scope lens, just because I really wanted to try it out. And we are facing Chris off of my Discord. I've battled him quite a few times before, very solid player. So if you guys do enjoy this, then you know what to do. But going into this matchup, he had a very scary team. Also, not to mention that this team literally has no switch-ins to Zygarde 10%. I believe somebody called Mr. Aldo made this team, and I just got the team off of Harris's Discord. But yeah, unfortunately, going into this match, Zygarde is a humongous problem. Tyrantrum, if I lose, my Steelix could be an issue. Also, this Rotom Heat literally just pressures my entire squad, so I have to be very careful with that. So he ends up leading off with the Rotom, as I'm going to be leading off with my Kingdra. Turn 1, I just decided to go straight for the Surf. Could have potentially gone straight for the Substitute, but just on the off chance that he did feel like being aggressive and going potentially for the Thunderbolt, or even just safely Volt Switching like he did, then I felt Surf was still a solid play because I could get off chip on whatever comes in, as he does opt to switch directly into the Milotic here. This is really nice because I will be able to set up a Substitute on this thing and the following turn, because typically Milotic only runs Scald as their offensive move of choice. What I can do is actually go straight for the focus energy. I was also kind of hoping that maybe he would go for the Toxic or maybe Haze right away, but him scalding right away did make a lot of sense because it did cover me potentially switching out and bringing something else in here. As thanks to the focus energy, now since I have the scope lens and I have the sniper ability, I will be able to crit all of my moves, and sniper increases the damage output of how much crits actually do. So even though I had the sniper boost, my Milotic is still just so stupidly bulky, and it's able to just tank the hit. So we had to redo the first couple turns of this battle, and in the initial battle he actually broke my Substitute with the second Scald. So I decided just to focus energy again, so this way he can break my Scald. Luckily the extra turn of leftovers that he does get doesn't really end up mattering too much, and me being able to weaken or just get rid of this Milotic in general is going to be absolutely huge for my Salazzle in the back, because Milotic was realistically his best switch into my Salazzle. Salazzle outspeeds everything unless he is running Scarf Tyrantrum, although there is a good chance that this Rotom is Scarfed. As this turn I end up making a questionable play by going for the sub. My gut was telling me to go for the Surf. Like, I really should have gone for Surf there because getting rid of this Rotom would have been absolutely huge, but unfortunately I make the safe play here and I go for the Substitute. You guys are gonna kind of see this as a pattern throughout this whole match here, as I'm just gonna go for another Surf and I will be able to knock out the Milotic. So Milotic is gone, his best fire resist is gone. If I'm able to get up rocks and just start pressuring the Rotom, then that's going to be really nice. Also, Zygarde does not outspeed my Salazzle, which is going to be really nice, and I do have the Hidden Power Ice, so that can definitely come in handy. And then Tyrantrum, as long as it doesn't Dragon Dance or Rock Polish, shouldn't be entirely too big of a threat here. As he ends up bringing in the Vanillix, I'm thinking that he's just going to want to go straight for the Ice-type move, which is why I bring in my Snorlax here, but he actually ends up going for the Ice Shard. And I found this to be very odd, because this should have automatically told me, okay, he's probably not Scarfed, but he also could have just brought in Rotom to go for the Volt Switch, so I'm going to try and double out here. Now, I was banded Snorlax, so I could have very well just stayed in there and gone for the Fire Punch, which ultimately I probably should have. But if I did Fire Punch there, I might have given Tyrantrum or Zygarde free switching, and then potentially a free KO or a free setup. So I doubled out into Kingdra, expecting him to try and bring in the Steelix, but he reveals to have the Taunt, which typically from what I see Vanillix run, and since I just normally see them in NU, they're either Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, so I did not at all consider it potentially running the Taunt, as I bring in my Totem Salazzle, which is huge. Holy crap, this thing is gigantic, and I'm just gonna go for the Fire Blast. Thought about maybe going for the Sludge Wave there, but thankfully Fire Blast. Again, the safe play was still my best play in that scenario. As in comes the Steelix, there's no way I one-shot Steelix, so I'm gonna switch here on now into my Rotom Mo, as he actually stays in his normal form, because if I did have the Inferno Overdrive and he had Mega Evolve, I would have actually been able to OHKO him, so it makes sense that he did stay in his base form. And then this turn, I make another really bad play and I go for the Will-O-Wisp. Honestly, there was no reason for him to leave in Steelix. You always switch there, and I just made the safe play, man. And it ends up really costing me here because I'm going to be forced to switch out. I don't want to risk bringing in my Steelix, so he is going to be able to just freely Volt Switch here on out into his own Steelix now. And since he brought this in automatically, then he most likely is just going to want to go ahead and get up a Stealth Rock. So I'm going to try and do the same myself, because if I can get up rocks, then this will put me in a pretty okay scenario. Yeah, he will have rocks up on my side of the field as well, but it's better than allowing him to just consistently switch in and out for free, especially with that Rotom Heat, which is proving to be a giant nuisance since this team doesn't really deal with it too well, and switching into it can be a bit of a pain depending on what set it's running, whether it be the Z move set or a Scarf, potentially even Spec set. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get out my rocks here. I knew he would switch in the Rotom Heat. Like, I don't have a rock move, Steelers don't ever really run rock type moves, and if I went for Toxic, then that would have ultimately hurt me more. At least by going for the rocks in the long run of the battle, these will help me more out, and if I can just keep forcing in Rotom, then eventually it will knock itself out. So again, I'm just gonna switch out here, expecting him to maybe try and go for the Overheat, but he does end up making the good play there and going for the Volt Switch, as I just bring back in my Snorlax. And I'm not a fan of Choice Banded Snorlax, honestly. If I had the Figgy Berry, this would have been really nice, because I would have been able to keep my Snorlax healthy. And in comes a Zygarde Dogo, and I essentially just have to sack something on my team. So I was kind of hoping that because this Rotom was Figgy Berry, that I could be able to switch in, and then after taking the arrows, it activates my Figgy Berry, so then that maybe I would be out of range of where another 1,000 arrows would be able to knock me out. But unfortunately, I am still right in range of being KO'd by this Zygarde. And yeah, there was just literally nothing I could switch into this Zygarde. And so long as he's got the Rotom Heat in the back, my own Rotom isn't doing entirely too much, honestly. So what this does allow me to do, though, is get a free switch into my Salazzle here. I do have the HP Ice. I thought about going for the Sludge Wave, expecting him to switch, but I just decided to attack what was directly in front of me, just again making the very safe play. And you guys know me, you guys have seen a bunch of my previous battles before. I don't typically like to play safe. I don't know what it was about this battle, man. Just I really did not make too many predictions, unfortunately, but things aren't entirely too bad. There is still a chance that we can definitely win because of just how big of a threat Salazzle realistically is to his team. So I end up switching here into Steelix, completely knowing he would well, not knowing, but I had a really good feeling that he would overheat, and I still just made the very bad. This is probably the biggest misplay I regret in this whole game. Like, my brain and my gut were like, he's gonna overheat, and I still just clicked Steelix and just... Yeah, if I kept Steelix around, that would have been really nice, because then I would have been able to potentially stop this Rotom from Volt Switching. But this does give me a free switch back into my Salazzle here, and I will be able to safely go for the Sludge Wave. I don't think he's going to want to risk bringing in the Zygarde, just because I could go for the Hidden Power Ice, and he's actually going to opt to sack off his Tyrantrum here, which, even though this is resisted, I will actually be able to 2 KO him thanks to the rocks. But luckily, I do have the Hidden Power Ice, so if it was potentially a roll, I think it was a guaranteed 2 KO after rocks, but I didn't want to risk it, so going for the HP Ice there was definitely my best play. As in comes the Zygarde. He definitely has zero reason to not just click the Extreme Speed. I foolishly sacked off Steelix. I have a Gardevoir in the back that's not going to live too, and my Snorlax is not Figgy, so unfortunately another Extreme Speed will be able to easily knock me out. I'm not saying Banded Snorlax is a bad set, it's just I don't really know how to use it because I'm so used to using Figgy Berry Snorlax. I'm sure Banded Snorlax is a monstrous and awesome set to use, but I've never really used it before, so yeah, pretty sure it is a pretty good set. So I'm going to bring in my Gardevoir here, and at this point, my last chance to try and win this battle is to hopefully go ahead and pass off a Healing Wish to my Salazzle in the back. And if I'm able to OHKO the Steelix with Fire Blast, if he's not fully Split Def bulky, then I can tank a Volt Switch from the Rotom Mo. As he Volt Switches into the Zygarde, I can potentially catch that with the Hidden Power Ice, knock that out, and then if I can live a second Volt Switch from the Rotom, then that means I can in return knock him out potentially with my Z move here. So I decided to go for the Healing Wish into my Salazzle as he does. Why do I always do that? He does end up bringing in the Steelix here. Unfortunately though, Mega Steelix is stupidly bulky as well, and I'm not going to be able to one-shot it. So he's going to end up finishing me off with the Earthquake, and that is going to be the 3-0 victory in Chris's favor. So yeah, Chris played really well this entire match, and I just honestly played entirely too safe and way too obvious, but hey, it is what it is. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and answer the comment question of the day. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow with another battle, and most likely alive depending on how things go. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Later everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks.